Diane is planning a party at a trampoline park. It will cost $55 to rent the park, plus an additional $8 per guest. She wants to spend less than $100 on the party. Write and solve an inequality to determine the maximum number of guests, G, that can be invited when spending less than a total of $100. Okay, so we've got this word problem, and oftentimes I need to go back and read it, a couple more times before I really understand what they're asking for. So let's do that now. And I'm going to highlight all the things that I see that are important. So number one, it's going to cost $55 to rent the park. So that is a flat fee that she needs to pay. And then plus, well, that is a keyword. So plus an additional $8 per guest. So we'll highlight that. She wants to spend less than $100. Okay, so less than is a key phrase as well. And then they want us to write and solve, so two different things, an inequality to determine the number of guests, G. So we want to determine what this is. And I'm going to circle inequality. That can be invited when spending less than a total of $100, which we've already highlighted up here. So we are ready to get started. Now, sometimes it's difficult to know exactly where to start, what to write, but I like to just start writing something and see what comes out. Okay? So in this case, it says it's going to cost $55 to rent the park. We know that that's true. We can write it down. So we can write down it's going to cost that much money at least. Well, plus, so I'm going to do an addition sign here, plus an additional $8 per guest. So I know it's going to be $8, and they're telling us that G represents the number of guests. So I can say 8 times G. Okay. And then she wants to spend less than $100. So all of this added together needs to be less than $100. And the reason I didn't write the inequality there is I want to show you, in case you forget which sign is which, which is the greater than, which is the less than, I'm going to show you a good way to remember it. So these numbers here, this is 0. These numbers are decreasing, meaning they are less than the numbers on the other side. These numbers are increasing, and these are greater than these numbers over here. So this is our greater than sign, and this is our less than sign. All right, I hope that helps. So now that we know that, let's go ahead and pop that in here, because she wants to spend, this is her total expenses, less than $100. Okay, guess what? Now we're done writing the inequality. So we've already done one step of the problem. Now they want us to solve it. So how do we solve this thing? What we want to do is we want to isolate the number of guests, because that's what we're looking for. How many guests can we have and not go over the $100? So we need to get the G by itself. Okay, so in order to do that, I need to start taking things away from this side of the equation. Okay, because I just want this on this side of the equation. So the first thing, and we have to do this in pieces, we can't do it all at once. The first thing we're going to do is get rid of the 55 on this side. So we're going to subtract 55 on this side, which means we have to subtract 55 on this side. 55 minus 55 is 0, and 100 minus 55 is 45. Now we're going to rewrite this equation. We're going to have 8G is less than 45. We're getting closer. Same thing again. We need to isolate this G. So in order to do that, we need to get rid of the coefficient of G, which is 8. That needs to become a 1. So I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply this by 1 over 8. So I'm going to change that to 8 over 1. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. Multiply times 1 over 8. Okay, so 8 goes into 8 one time, so now the coefficient of g is now 1, and we don't write the 1, but it's implied. So g is less than 45 over 8. We are almost done with this problem. Now all we need to do is divide 45 divided by 8 to see how many guests can come. So we're going to do 8 into 45. All right, 8 goes into 45. Let's see, 5 times 8 is 40. We got 5 left over. We'll add a 0. 8 goes into 50. 6 times 8, I need a decimal there. 6 times 8 is 48. And we're left with 2. And do another 0. 2 times 8 is 16. I really don't need to go this far, but we're going to do it anyway, just so you can see. It ends here. So 5 times 8 is 40. So this is that answer. G is less than 5.625 people. So we can have 5.625 less than that number of guests. Okay, well, we can't have 0.65 guests, right? So the answer is just 5. 5 is going to be the answer. So the number of guests is equal to 5. All right. And once you see that here, it doesn't hurt to go ahead and work it all out, and I think they probably want you to, but really after you know there's a decimal after the 5, you know that's not a valid number. We need a whole number for the number of guests. So that's it. A lot of students did have problems on this question, but I think you can see it's not that bad, and if you practice it a few times, you'll have this down. All right? I hope this helps, and I will see you in the next one.